Junie B. Jones and the Mushy, Gushy Valentime. Chapter 1. Party ideas. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. I go to school in room 9. Room 9 is where they have afternoon kindergarten. Also, they have morning kindergarten, only I'm not familiar with that arrangement. Today at school, my teacher had an announcement to make. Announcement is the school word for listen to me, and I mean it. My teacher's name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I just like Mrs. and that's all. Mrs. told us that we are going to have a special day in room 9, and it is called Valentine's Day. She said that Valentines are special cards about friendship, and all of us in room 9 are going to give them to each other. My bestest friend Lucille squealed real happy. Ooh, I love getting cards, teacher. I especially love getting the kind with money in them. Money is my favorite kind of mail. Me too, Lucille, I said. Money is my favorite kind of mail too. Plus, also, I enjoyed the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Mrs. did a chuckle. Well, I'm sorry, girls, but I'm afraid there won't be money in our Valentines. In room 9, we will just be sending happy wishes to each other, but it will still be lots of fun. We will be making a special Valentine's box to hold all the cards. And on the day of our party, I will personally deliver the cards to each of you. Just then, I jumped right out of my chair because nobody even mentioned a party before. Hooray! I yelled, hooray for parties! Can we have cake and donuts, Mrs.? And what about cheese popcorn and cotton candy and pretzels and candy apples? I thought some more. Plus, also, we'll need red licorice and peanut butter cups probably, and chocolate-covered raisins, and oh yeah, and malted milk balls and gummy bears. I looked over at her. Maybe you should be writing this down, I said. Mrs. shook her head. She said we would have cupcakes, punch, and candy hearts. I sat back down very disappointed because not much thought went into that menu. That's why. Lucille stood up. What kind of punch, teacher? Will it have fresh raspberries and strawberries floating in it? My Nana's Catering always puts fresh raspberries and strawberries into our punch, and it is delicious. After that, Lucille twirled around in her fluffy dress. And what about dancing? I'm learning ballroom dancing at my expensive dancing school, and so I would be happy to teach the children who are cheaper than me. Mrs. stared at Lucille a real long time. How very generous of you. But I don't think we'll be having ballroom dancing, Lucille. Jamal Hall waved his hand high in the air. Then what about a puppet show? If we can't have dancing, can we have a puppet show? Yes, said a girl named Lenny, or else maybe we could hire a magician. Or what about a wild animal act like a grizzly bear or a sea lion? Just then, a boy named Polly Allen Puffer ran right to the front of the room, and he jumped up and down all over the place. No, wait, I've got it. We could get some of those jugglers who juggle chainsaws. After that, room 9 clapped and whistled and hooted and hollered, because who doesn't love chainsaw jugglers? That's what I would like to know. After we finished clapping, we looked at Mrs. Her head was on her desk and her eyes were staring out the door. Then all the children in room 9 got very quiet because Mrs. was scaring us a little bit. Plus, also, we were out of party ideas. Chapter 2, Scribble Scraps. The next day, me and my bestest friend named Grace were playing on the playground, and guess what? We saw Mrs. carry a giant box into room 9. It was the box we were going to decorate for Valentine's Day, I think. Wowie, wow, that thing will hold 1,000,000 bajillion Valentine's cards, I said. That Grace did a frown at me. Stop saying Valentine, Junie B. You keep on saying Valentine with the M sound, and you are supposed to say Valentine with an N sound. I did a frown back at her. Who said so? I asked. I said so, said that Grace. Didn't you hear my voice? I just got finished telling you it has an N in it. The word is Valentine. I did a huffy breath at that girl. You are not the boss of my words, Grace, I said. This is a freed country. And if I want to say Valentine, I can. And I will not even go to jail. That Grace looked annoyed at me. I didn't say you would go to jail, Junie B. I just wish you would say the word correctly. That's all. Yeah, well, we can't always have what we wish for, Grace. I wish Valentime had an M in it, but it doesn't, does it? After that, me and that Grace made squinty eyes at each other. Plus, also, we crossed our arms and we tapped our angry feet. Only pretty soon we got tired of that because fighting with your friends is not that fun. That's how come both of us hugged each other and we said apology. Sorry, Junie B. Sorry I tried to be the boss of your words. Sorry, Grace. Sorry, Valentine doesn't have an M in it. After that, both of us holding hands and we skipped all the way to room 9. This is called a victory skip. And guess what else? After we got to room 9, Mrs. said it was time to decorate our Valentine's box. Everybody quick sat down in their seats and then we watched Mrs. cover the box with shiny white paper. Plus, also, she cut a mail slot in the top. After that, all the children got our scissors and we cut out paper hearts to paste onto the sides. I cut my fastest. Mrs., look, I'm already done cutting my heart. And so I have the fastest scissors in room 9, probably. Just then, a meanie boy named Jim jumped up from his chair. No, you don't. Look over here. I already cut 2 hearts. See, 1, 2. So ha on you. I quick cut another heart. Yeah, well, now I have 2. And so you are not the winner anymore, meanie Jim. 3, he yelled. I just cut number 3, so I'm still ahead of you. I made my scissors go speedy fast. Ha, now I have 3 too, so there. He fast snipped. 4, I'm up to 4. That's how come I got frustration inside of me. Stop it, Jim. Stop cutting so fast, and I mean it. After that, I tried to cut one more heart, but my scissors went out of control and my heart turned into like scribble scraps. Darn it. Now look what you made me do, I hollered real mad. All of a sudden, a big hand came flying over the top of my head, and it snatched my scissors right off my fingers. I bended my head back to see who it was. It was Mrs. I did a gulp. I was afraid it was you, I said, kind of soft. Then Mrs. went to Jim's table, and she snatched his scissors, too. And so me and him had to sit in our chairs for the rest of the day, and we didn't get to decorate our Valentine's box because our cutting days were over. That's why. And our pasting days never even got started. Chapter 3, picking out Valentines. The Valentine's box turned out very beautiful. After it was finished, Mrs. passed out lists for us to take home. The list had the names of all the children in room 9. There are 18 children in our class, so that means that everyone needs to bring 18 Valentines. I raised my hand. Do we bring Valentines for ourselves too? I asked her. Well, no, she said. I mean, there's no rule against it, I suppose, but Valentines are really supposed to be given to others. She thought for a second. Oops, I guess that means I made a mistake, doesn't it? Since you won't be bringing a card for yourselves, you will only need to bring 17 Valentines. I raised my hand again. Yeah, only what if we also want to bring a Valentine for you, Mrs.? Mrs. raised her eyebrows. Well, then you would be back up to 18 again, wouldn't you? 17 plus 1 equals 18. I tapped on my chin. Yeah, only what if there's people in here who we don't actually like that much? Do we have to bring them a Valentine too? Yes, Junie B, she said. Of course you do. Valentine's Day is a day of friendship for everyone. So every single boy and girl in room 9 will bring a card for every other boy and girl. After that, Mrs. finished explaining. She sat back down at her desk and I zoomed up there and I whispered in her ear, yeah, only I know I have to bring cards to the regular boys and girls, but I don't have to bring cards to the big, fat, stinky heads, do I? All of a sudden, Mrs. throwed her arms up in the air. Yes, Junie B, yes, you do. For the last time, you will bring a card for everyone in room 9, even the big, fat, stinky heads. Just then, all of room 9 looked at her because teachers are not supposed to say big, fat, stinky heads, I think. After that, Mrs. closed her eyes for a real long time, and then finally she stood up very slow and she went to the sink and she took aspirin. The next day was Saturday, and it was the funnest Saturday ever. because Daddy took me to the drugstore and he bought me beautiful heart antennas for my head. Plus, also, he let me pick out my very own box of Valentines. After we got home, Mother helped me pick out the perfect card for every person in room 9. First, I picked a card for my bestest friend, Lucille. It had a lovely princess on the front of it. This one, Mother, I will give Lucille this one because when she grows up, she is going to marry an expensive prince. And she is going to let me and Grace sweep her castle. Plus, also, we will get to wear her raggedy, used up gowns. Mother looked and looked at me. Lucille is a regular saint, she said very quiet. I know it. Me and Grace are lucky to have her. After that, I found the perfect card for Grace, too. It had 2 running shoes on the front of it. Mother read me the words. It said, Valentine, you and I make the perfect pair. We do, Mother. Me and that Grace do make the perfect pair because Grace can beat me at running and I can beat Grace at lots of other stuff, probably, only I haven't actually found anything yet. After that, I picked out special cards for all the other children in room 9. Every time I picked out a Valentine, Mother crossed a name off the list. Finally, there was only one name left. Jim, said Mother. You still need to pick a card for Jim. I did not want to give that guy one, of course. I looked all through my box of Valentines. Then all of a sudden, I saw a card with a funny skunk on the front. That one. I will send Jim that one. Mother shook her head. I don't know, Junie B. A picture of a skunk just doesn't seem very nice. I put it in the envelope. Perfect, I said, because neither is Jim.